Hey guys, Tuesday today. Welcome back for another video. We're going to be looking at Premier League prediction fixtures for this weekend coming up. So let's get into it. So the first game at 12:30 kickoff, we got Brentford taking on Liverpool. It's at Brentford's ground, and to be honest, it's not going to be really easy it gets because Brentford they did beat Wolves 2-0. But against Liverpool, at home it's not going to be really easy because Liverpool they did win against Burnley 3-1. In spite of that, and they remain top of the league so far in a good spot in a good position. And yeah, so it's going to be a really good game. I think there'll be some goals, but I think Liverpool might win at the end. So for that game, I'm gonna go for a 2-1 win Liverpool. I think Liverpool should win 2-1. I think they're gonna win it and remain on top. Brentford is a difficult place to go to, so I think Liverpool will win 2-1. Next game we're gonna do is Arsenal taking on Burnley. And yeah, so Arsenal after that huge win, finally for them for being the title race and beat West Ham in 6 goals and 6-0. Arsenal are looking really good. They got a Champions League coming up next week against Porto, and but for this game they'll be taking on Burnley this weekend at 3 o'clock. And yeah, Arsenal are looking really good at the moment. They've been in the title race. They've been significant, excellent for this season. And they're in the title race with the big teams like Liverpool and City. You know, seeing Arsenal, in this form compared to the last season, I think this Arsenal team is incredible to be honest. So for this game, I think Arsenal should smash Burnley because Burnley don't really stand a chance of winning against Arsenal like for tomorrow's game. No way they ain't gonna win because they've been losing badly. They've been poor for the whole season, and they have a bad record for the whole games as well. So they haven't really played really well. They haven't really played that great. But despite of they did get like they did get a win like in mostly games, but in reality, I don't see him beating Arsenal. Yeah, so for that game, I'm gonna go for a 3-0 win Arsenal. Actually, you know what? I might go for a 4-0 win because I feel like you know Bournemouth they've been getting opened up and touched down lately. They've been getting opened up by a lot of teams as well, and Arsenal's gonna open a lot like what they did to West Ham. So I'm gonna go for a 4-0 win Arsenal, and I think they will batter like Burnley. They're gonna batter them. So yeah, 4-0 win Arsenal. I think they'll beat them, you know, comfortably. So anyways, we're gonna be moving on. Newcastle takes on Bournemouth. Ooh, that's another good game. Newcastle, in spite of them, Newcastle, they've been out of form lately. They have been struggling to get some points. But despite of them getting a win against Nottingham Forest, not an easy place to go to, I think Newcastle they do deserve it. But against Bournemouth, it's not an easy road, man. Bournemouth they lost against Fulham 3-1, and yeah, it's not a good result for them. But I think it's gonna be a really good game, good competitive for both teams to see who's gonna be victorious. But I can see Newcastle winning this game against Bournemouth. But it's gonna be a close one. It's gonna be a good game. But I can see Newcastle winning this game. So I'm gonna go for my prediction for this game. I'm gonna go for a. I'm gonna go for a 3-1 win Newcastle. I think Newcastle. I know I think Newcastle will win. They most likely concede like a couple, maybe one or two. So I'm gonna go for a 3-2 win Newcastle to win this game. And Bournemouth will put a good fight, but Newcastle's going to win that game straight away. Yeah, so anyways, we'll move on to the next game, and that will be, um, who else we got? West Ham will be taking on Nottingham Forest at Nottingham Forest ground, at a City ground tomorrow, 3 o'clock as well. Um, West Ham haven't really played really well, to be honest. They lost to United 3-0 and they got battered by Arsenal 6-0. You know, there will be questions for David Moyes if he doesn't turn those two games results. So results are for David Moyes. He has Nottingham Forest tomorrow and he's got Brentford coming up next week as well. So if he doesn't turn those games around, I have a feeling that he could be getting sacked, and for probably this month. We don't know what's going to happen to David Moyes, but all I could say is West Ham were dreadful against Arsenal, and Man United got absolutely put in a split. They got absolutely got destroyed, to be honest. Like, they've been getting a lot of touchdowns. They've been getting bad lately. It's not a great performance for West Ham, but if they play like that against Nottingham Forest this weekend on a Saturday tomorrow. Yeah, it's not looking good for West Ham. But Nottingham Forest, yeah, they did lose to Newcastle 3-2. But I'm gonna say I was impressed with Nottingham Forest, how they played, how they got those 2 goals back, despite of them losing that game. They still got a lot to improve, but I think Nottingham Forest could get a result against West Ham because the way West Ham played against Arsenal and lost to them 6-0. But for that game, I think, despite of West Ham, they lose to that game. I think I'm gonna go for a 2-2 draw. 'Cause I think Nottingham Forest, they need to get a result and a point at least, so that getting a result and a points for league, it could benefit them and help them move into the next game, who they got. And yeah, so it's gonna be a really good game. I'm gonna go for a 2-2 draw. So anyways, yeah. So anyways, we'll move on to the next one, and we got Tottenham taking on Wolves. So yeah, it's not gonna be an easy game as expected, because last time Tottenham played against Wolves, Wolves has a good record against Tottenham. They beat them 3 times in each Premier League in every year, and Tottenham's been struggling against Wolves. And this season, Wolves beat Tottenham 2-1. And then, to be honest, Wolves are doing a good job. They're doing really well. They've been doing really excellent, despite of them losing to Brentford. I think Wolves, they're in the, Wolves are a good team. Like, this is where you can't, underestimate Wolves, because Wolves are very a hard team to deal with, and they're really a difficult side. Despite of them, like, even in away form as well, like against teams like, depending who Wolves up against, Wolves will give you a tough time to deal with. Look at what they've done to Chelsea, 4-2. Like, that is absolutely crazy. They beat Chelsea 4-2. Despite them losing to Brentford at home, Tottenham, the one worried weakness of Tottenham is they play like a high line, and they played a high line against Wolves. Wolves could exploit their weakness and beat them, because Wolves are very good at a higher counter attack press, and they can put a lot of pressure as well. So Tottenham needs to, be aware of, what Wolves are capable of. But Tottenham did get lucky against Brighton, because at first Tottenham, in their first half, they were poor. They wasn't at their very best. Tottenham were like, they're not as good in the first half, but in the second half they got lucky, because Brighton had so many chances and they could have finished it off. They could have ended like 2-0, but instead Tottenham put it back with a comeback to make it 2-1. But at the end of the day, Tottenham deserve it. and it's against yeah. So they are top four right now. So yeah, so Tottenham could if Tottenham can win this game against Wolves, they will still remain top four. But the question is, Aston Villa's right next to Tottenham. If they win against Fulham this weekend, ooh, that's going to be a little bit of pressure on Tottenham. But Tottenham should win this game against Wolves. So for this weekend, for Tottenham and Wolves, I'm going to go for a 2-1 win Wolves. I think they will concede, but I think Tottenham will like manage to control the possessions and everything and try and maintain with that balance of midfield and defence and get the job done until the very end of the full-time whistle. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win Spurs. And yeah, so anyways, we move on to the last game of the Saturday. We got Fulham taking on Aston Villa. And to be very honest with you, it's not going to be as easy as get. Aston Villa, they have, been out of form. They've been losing 2 games in a bounce, you know. And to be honest with you, they haven't really played that well lately. But they're still in the top fifth, in the top four spot, in the top four race against Tottenham. I think it's not going to be as easy because Fulham are a very good side and they beat Bournemouth 3-1, and it's not going to be as easy because if Villa wants to get over the line, they need to beat teams like Fulham, but it's not going to be as easy. So yeah, Aston Villa needs to step up if they want to improve. If they want to challenging for the top four or be in the title race. But I don't see him being the title race, but I could see him in the Europa League. But that would be a good position for Villa to be because top four might be a little bit hard for them to make it to the Champions League. But against Fulham away to Creighton Cottage, um, yeah, it's not going to be as easy. But I think there could be a lot of goals. So I think Villa, well, I don't know if they can win there, but I might need to go for a 2-2 draw because Fulham, yeah, despite of them, they can turn up depending on if they're in a good mood or they play good or they play a little bit bad. It depends what Fulham mood is, but I think it's gonna be a 2-2 draw. So yeah, so that's Saturday done. Now we just need to move on to Sunday. So Sunday we got who we got. So we got Brighton taking on Sheffield United. Mm, that's really interesting. It's at Sheffield United's ground, and I'm surprised that Sheffield United beat Luton 3-1 at Luton's ground because I thought Luton's gonna win because Luton were incredible in the season and they have impressed me as well. Like they impressed a lot of fans. They've been impressed a lot of Premier League for the season, beating teams that are unexpected. But Sheffield United to go there and get a result against Luton, but they're still in 19th in a relegation zone battle with Burnley and Everton. I think it's not as easy as get, but against Brighton, because I expected Brighton to bounce back and beat Sheffield United after that loss against Tottenham. But in the first half, they were all right against Tottenham, but then second half they just looked like they just stopped. So yeah, Brighton hadn't really played really well, but they've been losing a couple of games, but they did get a couple of wins against Crystal Palace. A week before when they beat them 4-1. But I think Brighton should bounce back after that loss against Tottenham last week and get a result against Sheffield United this weekend. They probably will beat them. So I think for my prediction, I'm gonna go for I'm gonna go for a 3-0 win Brighton. I think Brighton should bounce back and get a result and win this game as well. And yeah, and then there's another game on Sunday. I think last but not least, I think we got Luton taking on Man United. Ooh, Man United, they have started to come back. They started to play really well and pick up some decent results lately. Some good results. Beating Villa and putting some good performance as well. And yeah, and they look like they're in top six so far. I think I'll say top six. Yeah, top six. Yeah, so they're in top six in the table, and they've been putting a great performance. Man United, they haven't really played that well lately, to be honest. But I think against Luton, it's going to be a tough place to go to because Luton, they've been picking up some points against other big teams, big couple teams like beating Newcastle, beating Brighton as well. They've been beating like some other teams lately, but in spite of that, Luton is a very tough team to deal with as well. And I think it's not going to be as easy as get, but Man United should, get result. They could get a result against Luton, but I don't know. Like I feel like this could go a draw because Luton can, you know, turn up and cause a lot of problems. But for my prediction, I feel like it's gonna. I feel like for me it's gonna be a draw. So I'm gonna go for a 2-2 draw. And last not least, next week Monday, Everton takes on Crystal Palace. And to be honest, it's gonna be a very tight game because Everton are still the relegated zone, and after Everton are still in a relegation battle after that loss against City, you know. And to be very honest with you, Everton needs to bounce and get a result against Crystal Palace because at the moment Crystal Palace hasn't been their actual very best at the moment, and the manager is still under pressure of Roy Hodgson, and I think he might get sacked, but we don't know what's gonna happen. But all I can say is if Crystal Palace to lose to Everton, yeah, Crystal Palace are gonna be going down. But in spite of that, Everton needs to like get more points if they want to stay up until the end of the season. Because they got a new stadium as well that they'll be rebuilding. And if Everton wants to win, they're gonna stay up until the end of the season. But Sean Dyche is another manager that looks like he's under pressure because still in the relegation zone. Yeah, so it's not looking really good for Everton, including Crystal Palace after that loss against Chelsea. You know, they thought they had it, but unfortunately they didn't. So Roy Hodgson, he's under massive pressure. If he loses against Everton, he's gone out the door, getting sacked in the morning, and I could see it coming. But yeah, I'm gonna go for the prediction for that game. Everton needs to bounce back, so I think they will win probably by. Hmm, I think they'll win probably by. Hmm, Elise and Eze. I think they're injured, so I don't know if they'll be starting. But I think they should win by 3-1. So I'm gonna go 3-1 Everton. And yeah, and that's it for the video, guys. Let me know what your thoughts on who's gonna win and what are your thoughts on the predictions, and comment down below. Who do you think is gonna do well, and let me know who do you think is gonna lose in the weekend. And yeah, so that's it for the video, guys. Hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy your rest of your evening and afternoon. And yeah, and have a great day, guys, and enjoy your weekend. And I'll see you next week, Tuesday, for the preview for Man City and Brentford. Brentford coming soon, so make sure you check that out because I'll be doing a preview on Monday for the Man City and Brentford coming up for the Tuesday Premier League kickoff as well. So make sure you check that out. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you later, and have a good one, guys. Bye.